It's storming.
And it's going to continue to storm.
Crazy weather.
The rest of the week.
Yeah. So we're going to use this time to make some videos and talk about some things that we've been going through, some changes in the business, and some of the events that we're going to be attending. We have a PNS event coming up February 16th. Just got in from San Diego a couple days ago for a training that was hosted by OCD, Official California Detailing, down in San Diego. And it was presented by Owner's Pride. So we went through the whole Owner's Pride gamut of products, usage, the whole how-to, ceramic coatings.
Some very special guests are in attendance as well. You got Lake Country.
Yes.
Out there representing.
Tom from Lake Country was there. Ian from Auto Fiber. We also had Dan from Owner's Pride, of course. Dustin, who was hosting from Official California Detailing. We also had Shad, president of the IDA, come out and represent, drop some knowledge on not only the business, but the industry in general. And then we also took a paint chip repair and scratch, removal course. I'll just call it a clinic. My man put it through. My man
Jamie over there. Huh?
My man Jamie just put it down. So we came into this training as students. So we went in there primarily for the chip repair.
Right.
We went there for the chip and scratch repair. That was a service we've been trying to do for quite some time. I was trying to do it on my own, just wasn't getting it done. So I said, you know what? This is a great opportunity to go out there. We wanted to go out to Utah to hang out with the Born Detailers, Shad and Jamie prior. But since they were coming to San Diego, we figured, okay, let's
perfect opportunity.
Great opportunity. It's one of those things, guys, where training sometimes will benefit you in a great way. Sometimes the training won't, depending on what you're looking for in the training. We take every opportunity and we really relish in the environment as far as anything that we can gain, whether it be from a customer service perspective, whether it be from a technical standpoint, whether it's coming from maybe value that a specific brand can help us out with, or just overall efficiencies and, industry best practices that are going to help us. So,
or not so much the best practices, but we're also get an insight on other problems to say that other people are having.
Yes.
And then that's always great for us, because if that's a problem,
we can avoid it.
We could avoid it, or we could find a remedy for it.
Yeah.
That could help more people. Yeah. So we're also in tune to those type of ideas or insights.
Yeah.
Which we heard some.
Yeah, we heard some great ones where, there was a few comments about certain things. Like, we even brought up like mold, how we don't like to do mold. Yes. And there were some guys there that were new, and they were kind of on the fence, like, where should I kind of stop my services as I'm growing or as I'm starting my business? Because as we all know, if you try to do something that's a little bit over your head, it can be not only time consuming, but back-breaking, set expectations that you can't deliver. It could be, it can hurt your business.
That, and also, mold is dangerous.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand you got to do what you got to do, but at some point in your business, you got to say, hey, I'm glad to say we don't do mold anymore. What I mean? That should be great for you. And if you could avoid mold at all, there's good money to be made in it, but at that time you have to measure what's more important here.
It's fun to see the objections that other detailers have and their reasoning behind things that they don't do. Like some detailers won't do car washes. Some detailers won't do touch-up. Some detailers won't do, maybe PPF or even ceramic coating. There's some detailers that we have a very good friend who's been in the body shop business for a long time, and he doesn't like ceramic coatings. He's just like, man, I don't want that stuff on any of my cars, and it's interesting, his perspective, and there's some things we agree with his perspective, but also there's a demand for it too. So it's not it's not the core of our business in any way. I wouldn't have a problem if we were the go-to ceramic people in our area, but it's just something that we're not we don't love doing ceramic coatings. We're had a lot of experience doing those
I guess
things.
it's one of those things is we're good at it, but just because we're good at it doesn't mean we want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. There are service offerings that we have that we could almost hit that price point without doing a ceramic coating. Yeah. Less labor,
less
time than a ceramic coating. So things like that were kind of brought to attention in different markets. You know, there was guys there from Kentucky, Buffalo, Arizona, so pretty much all over the U.S. So everybody has their own focuses on what they're doing in their business. So there's no better time than in the training.
It was cool hearing the different perspectives due to the weather.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And all the adjustments or things that are to be considered.
Yeah.
And honestly, sometimes it's kind of like, did you, are you considering this due to the weather? And the responses are kind of, not that it happened here, but just like, you hear responses like, I would think that should be priority on your list. Does that, you know what I mean?
Like what?
Like, they're giving examples like of what they have to deal with, but all the recommendations that they're using is kind of like, that step 3 should be moved up to step 1.
So there's it's interesting to see how people's processes and their, I would say, like their priorities.
Yes.
And what's being prioritized in, you know, certain areas. And that's where market demand comes into effect. And, you know, on the business side, we started talking about marketing, sales, advertising, those types of things, which we do really none of them. But when it comes to marketing, a lot of people think, oh, well, marketing, I just need to put my name out there. Oh, I just need to get some t-shirts, or, oh, I just need to put my ad somewhere, or I need to pay. There's a difference between marketing and target marketing. If you're not identifying your market needs, then pretty much your marketing could be a waste of efforts and resources and money and time.
It's going to take you longer to get there.
Yes. There's a few indicators that you need to identify in order to target your market or target what your market need is. A lot of guys go in thinking, okay, I want to do ceramic coatings. But it's like, you live in rural Arkansas. Is that something that's really going to be, is your market really in demand for that? So these are things that we teach in our trainings, but it was interesting to go to another training. That wasn't necessarily business. You know, there was a business portion, but it wasn't in depth to the degree that we take it. We tend to take it, our trainings that we do are just all business elevation. But it's nice to see what other people are doing whenever you go to a training, because you're able to also kind of gauge and see where you kind of fall. Okay, are we at this level? Are we at this level? Are we maybe not where we thought we were? Okay, maybe we're exceeding. You know, it really gives you kind of a industry understanding of where you lie, where your business is, and it can kind of change the direction and where you want to take your business after. You know, like for us now, there's something we're adding to anything that comes into the studio.
Yeah, we came out with a lot of stuff. Our assessment of the course, great course. We came back, took a lot of things out of it, and we came out like we got a lot of work to do.
Yes. Whether you're getting the information directly from the course overview or just a conversation you're having with another detailer, that sometimes is more valuable than the actual course. You know, like
that's
you're
always
really
more valuable. Really.
Yeah, you're interacting with another professional. You're interacting with somebody that may be successful in a certain part of their business that maybe you struggle with yours. So you're able to kind of integrate their ideas and their process and tweak it to your liking to make your business successful. So that's what we've always done with our business, and that's what we've always tried to teach is the creative part is. And how you use it is more important than the information that you get. I think when you have that information, when you've been exposed to that information or those people, those types of people that you aspire to be like, or just like-minded individuals in general, when you're around that and you're able to apply your spin on it, your taste, your flavor, your style.
You're going to put out a product 3 times better.
And then it's just dangerous. Yeah. You know, like us, our bread and butter has always been our customer service. It's at a level that I think now people in the industry are starting to realize the importance of the customer service. And then when they see what we do, they're just like, okay, I got to step my game up. And I think this was kind of, you know, I feel like that was our contribution in this training to a lot of the guys that are maybe starting out, or maybe they're struggling with retention or sales. I think that's a way, because we've bypassed a lot of things through top tier customer service. And if you guys are more interested in learning about top tier customer service and how we deliver it and how we built our business, we not only have the consulting line available that we'll put in the links, but we have our School in Them training that you can, our one-on-one School in Them training that we can either go to you, travel to you, or you can come to us. They give you the tools you need to succeed and eliminate a lot of the issues that we're seeing a lot of detailers have. Even in this training here, we saw a lot of detailers having issues with certain things, whether it was tracking, whether it was their CRM, whether it was client retention, repeat clients, sales, all of those things. And the more that we're exposed to other people's styles of these categories in their business, the more it makes me feel grateful that we had a thorough plan prior to starting the business, to where it eliminated a lot of that, because it is a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of advertising costs. It's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of follow-up, emails. It's a lot of automated things to kind of get a lot of reminders. And what we try to, like Sal, you brought it up. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, go ahead. You go.
Like how Sal was bringing it up the other day. It's, we are more expensive than most detailers. We like to think we provide a premium service. And
I got you.
The way, how did you let them know how you kind of brought this up to me when we were having a discussion on our way home?
All right. A lot of you guys are going to watch this on YouTube. And a lot of you guys are going to watch it, and maybe we're talking on a pretty good topic that they're interested in. And guess what happens? Commercial break comes. Oh, man, I can't wait to press that skip button. What does YouTube provide? They provide a premium service. What does that give you?
The YouTube premium.
Most importantly, no commercials.
No interruptions.
No interruptions.
You're getting what you want.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
That's for the person that doesn't want to waste time listening to a commercial.
They don't want to be notified by email.
Yeah, they don't want any notifications. They don't want any disruptions.
I just want to know if you're coming.
Yeah, they want it, and they don't care how much it costs.
Yeah.
And those are our type of clients, because that's the type of service we provide. So we don't set the reminders. We don't send emails. There's no email blasts. There's none of the disruptions in the sales. But that's also communicated up front. That's actually, for some people, they would say, well, isn't that's less service that you're providing? That's less of a service you're providing.
Target market.
Yes. Target market. This is where your target marketing kicks in. If you're not targeting to the right clientele, they're not going to respond in the manner that you're expecting, I should say. And there's some people, if we were to start doing that to our clients, they would probably leave us. They would say, okay, I don't want all this spam. I don't need all these reminders. I don't want this. I don't like, Joel, I reach out to you when I'm ready. I already know what you're capable of doing. I know what I get when I'll let you know, or you just keep me on the schedule. There's clients now where they take care of their car and they'll say, okay, well, give me schedule for next year. We have people that we already have, as soon as we finish their car, they're scheduled.
They're twice a year.
Yeah, they're scheduled 6 months out, a year out. Our maintenance clients know on this day, because they have selected days that are just for them. So they know on this day in 2 weeks, their car is going to be taken care of. There's no questioning. There's no more communication. That's, to me, is top tier. That's like, for us, it's easy on both ends. It's super easy because we're literally doing nothing. It's easy on our side. It's easy on their side. That all comes with trust. That comes strictly through trust. You know, there's trust involved. There's obviously quality involved, and then there's service involved. So when all those three combine and you're doing top tier on all of those, you're pretty much in full control of everything. You're in control of everything. And that's where we are in our business, and that's where we want other people to see in their business, because it eliminates so much stuff. It eliminates conflicting scheduling. It eliminates, the need for crazy time management tools. You're more organized. You're not dealing with price objections, and when you're doing all those things, you're getting top tier service. They market for us. They advertise for us. I have so much gratitude for my clients who trust us and understand what we do and why we do it.
Well, it's a like-minded relationship.
Yes.
They're on the same grind. They operate the same way.
Yes.
They need things in order. I mean, there's a reason why we come on a Wednesday, because on Thursday they got something planned that they got to take care of a Thursday, and I'm sure whatever they got going on Thursday is just as important as us taking care of their vehicle.
Yeah. So that's what we've done with our business, and it's hard for a lot of people to grasp that idea, because the structured plan for growth usually doesn't encounter less communication with your client.
Right.
It usually doesn't require less, usually requires more or over. Yeah. There's things we do on the front end also to prevent some of the things we don't have to do on the back end. Yeah. There's standards are set from the initial conversation. Standards are set at that first interaction.
It's kind of like there is no checklist, there is no contract. You want to associate with people where, and I get business, there's certain things that you got to write down, but there's certain things that like-minded people just like, okay.
Yeah. Our relationships, and they're true relationships. They understand what it takes to operate, and they appreciate how we operate. So that's always a big plus for us. But back to the training, it's interesting to see how not only their businesses operate, but how maybe things would work better for us, or if things would work for them.
And shout out to Dustin over there at OCD. His name is OCD. That's the name of his business.
Oh yeah.
It stands for Official
California Detail.
Official California Detail. With a name like OCD,
you better come correct. You better come correct.
You go in his shop, he has everything is organized. There's a place for everything.
He doesn't have what he doesn't need.
Yes, it's clean. Very minimal.
Yes, very minimal. So it's very clean. It's not a huge space.
Yes,
but he definitely maximized his space with what he has.
Yes.
He operates efficiently. He's trained and developed his guys to run the system consistently.
His whole team looked the same.
Yes, he had a lot of, as soon as we walked in, we were like, okay, this guy has a lot of stuff. We go, everywhere we go, we're in this mindset of just
process improvement.
Yes.
Whatever that may entail. And
it's not to critique, it's just the way our minds work, because we've done it so long. It's been embedded, because when you're in a leadership role and when you have oversight, especially of multiple locations, that's what you're going in to do. You're going in to evaluate. You're going in to give a score. You're going in to make improvements and adjustments to allow the business to function and operate smoother. So as we're looking through Dustin's operation,
very streamlined.
We were impressed with not only the operation, but the customer service and the communication from not only him, his team. His team could tell me, was answering questions that there was a point where I just stopped bothering Dustin if I had a question here or there, because he's pretty much the face of the training. So I would ask the guys, and the guys would be able to respond with something that made sense. So that they're carrying out responsibilities.
There's a process in place. He definitely has a system that showed anybody walking in and to see anything, whether that be communication or getting the service, they could see there's a process. And Dustin spoke on that.
Yes.
And he made it clear that it took him a while, like it was hard to establish, but he has one now and he's learned it, and you could tell he's implementing in every aspect of his business.
Yes. He says start and open a shop. Well, he was mobile for a while before, but for somebody to start even mobile and integrate all of these processes at the same time as growing the business, it's not an easy thing to do. A lot of guys will fail, and we've seen a lot of guys fail.
Well, and we were talking about this too. This is not a detailing problem. This is a business problem. You don't implement process. You don't implement systems. It's going to be really tough for you.
Yes.
It's going to take a little longer
in
most cases than someone that identifies these things.
Yes, unless you have somebody consulting with you that can really identify the problem before you set the system in place, because that's usually the issue, right? People will set a system in place, and then when a problem occurs, they're like, oh, I didn't take that into consideration beforehand.
I guess you could say, what are the problems in the detailing industry? A lot of people say customer service. Well, you go to any other business,
it's always customer service.
It's going to be customer service. So it's not a detailing.
It's not, it's not specific to our industry.
There may be more of it, but however, that's probably the number one problem. Another problem, employees.
Yes.
That's a problem, where that be attendance issues. That's not a detailing
That's not a detailing industry specific.
You can't keep employees. Amazon has the same problem. That's why they're always hiring.
Yes. So definitely big ups and a big shout out to Dustin at OCD for holding it down, because and anybody that has ever worked in a place where you have to do training and development from the ground up, where you haven't done it when it's fresh. I started doing that stuff when I was about 16, 17. So for me, it's the back of my hand. It's nothing. But for somebody coming into something fresh, your back's against the wall, because this is your only means of, this is your livelihood. You're going through it. It's tough. And that's a testament to not only his commitment to his staff and his business and his customers, but that also tells you something about him as an individual. He's willing to put that extra work in to see his business grow because it is so beneficial, and people, it's the last thing that people work on, and truly they struggle day in and day out, not realizing that if you get this in order, it'll make life so much easier. And he did that grunt work at the beginning.
Those things that he started, that he's getting better at, and systems and process, all that equals culture. That equals culture. And when you go in there, you felt that culture.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And everybody wants to work in a place that's very organized. I guess everything is taken care of. That is culture, and he has that there.
It comes in and it goes full circle to customer service. If a customer walks in, a potential client walks in, they go into the shop, they see everything's on point. The team has, somebody's giving them attention, somebody's giving them information, they're answering questions, they're able to really display what they're capable of doing. Or maybe the potential client just walks by and they're just checking them out. And, that itself, because it happens to us all the time.
Yeah.
People see us working, whether we're in the studio, whether we're on a mobile job, they see us working, and just through your process, you're gaining clientele. If somebody's going to visit, we visit shops all year long.
Right.
So we're constantly seeing shops. And we're not really praising any of these shops. We're not really talking about them in high standards. We're not really talking about them the way we're talking about Dustin's, because Dustin's is running differently.
Right.
There's a reason he's seeing success, and it's directly correlated to the efforts he's put in on the business side of the detailing, and the training side, and the development side, and the coaching and the leadership side, and the customer service and the educational part. these are all parts that most businesses will say, I don't have time to do that. This is the part that they sweep under the rug because they think that the service is the actual service that they're doing in the technical part is more important than the actual customer experience, which in some cases that can be true. There's some people that are just grumpy that you don't like to deal with, but you're just like, they know their stuff.
These things just intermingle with so much other things. Yeah, you could do that, but again, then now it comes out that what's your business model. Like if you're okay with that clientele, and that's cool.
Yes,
that's cool. Yes. But we're just talking about the people that are talking about the problems and
yes.
Either I mean, there's obviously things you could do, but they don't think those things that you could do are relevant.
You can alleviate a lot of problems through process, and that's where where people like us step in, because that's what we've done for a living for so long. But being able to see somebody do that and actually doing it right feels really good, because it's like the proof is there. Yeah. He's thriving. They're doing well. Of course, they're still growing. They still have goals. There's things that they want to do, and they're in San Diego. They're in a pretty, the market's very aggressive there. So, and they have like true competitors that are, big in that area that have been established. So, what do you do as a business to not only solidify your name, but to continue to grow? And I think he's found his niche. He's definitely found his place. Better. Yes,
he's only with
and
that.
as he keeps progressing, and it's exciting to see.
His system and process is only going to get better.
Yes, and there's things that are going to be refined and polished. But one thing I was able to appreciate about this training was talking to the other established detailers. There is, it's always kind of this. It goes from this creative thought to trial and error, and then sometimes success, because it's not all the time. Sometimes you'll have an idea, and how many failures and how many times have we done things, but we always assess the risk beforehand. So if there's something that doesn't work for us, it's not like it cost us 3 weeks of time or thousands of dollars.
Anytime we set out to figure out something, we may not have figured out the end goal. However, that branched out to something better that we found along the way.
Yes, it can lead you to another.
So I guess it's one of those things where we lost the battle.
It's always learning.
We didn't lose the war, that type of corny stuff. That's what it kind of leads up to.
Yeah, but there's always something in there. Sometimes it's just the process to understanding or even communicating through me or Sal. Last night Sal came over and he's like, okay, I have an idea. We need to sit down. We need to talk about it. And sometimes just the communication part to try to get your idea as a creative person. I've been doing that my whole life.
Yeah.
Trying to communicate or art direct, have these ideas of a vision you have in your mind, and trying to get other people that maybe don't see things from that creative part of their mind to try to get them to understand. Maybe it's a lighting technician, maybe it's a director, maybe it's it's somebody on the production team where you're just like, okay, I need this from you, and they don't get it.
Yeah.
But me, that's when I would draw out storyboards. I would kind of draw a layout so people, like I do with you sometimes, where I'm like, okay, well, this is what the studio is going to look like. So if I tell Sal what the studio, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So when he was trying to communicate to me yesterday something in his mind that was creative, it was kind of difficult for him to I just wasn't getting it. And it's not that I'm shooting anything down. It's just I'm truly trying to understand what he's trying to get across. And sometimes in your process of being creative and having ideas, sometimes just the more you do it, the better you become at that communication, and the understanding gets there, and it's a true chemistry. But when people understand that's why certain directors and actors work well together.
Right.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio and Scorsese. He's probably, anytime Scorsese probably has a script or has an idea or something, I'm sure Leonardo is just like, oh, so you mean like this and this? Yes, that's why I work with you. And it's like the same thing with customer service and what you're capable of doing. When clients come to us and they're like, oh, I have this kind of car. Oh, do you have those problems? Are you experiencing this, and this? How do you know? That's why you're my man. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why I pay you the money, and not have to deal with that over there.
That's how it is with your peers. Not just your clients, that's the people that you associate your business with, that you go into business with, that you strive to be around. Like, all those people think alike. When we were saying things, they were like, woo!
Yeah.
Dang! And vice versa. Like, you guys, that's why we're here, man. That's why we're here.
That, for us, was the most valuable part of this experience, You're meeting great people, you're networking with great people, you're making other relationships in the industry. We had the privilege of having, people that have been there in the industry. Tom with Lake Country has been in the industry for how long? He worked, 20 plus years with McGuire's? Anything that came out of that man's mouth, I'm telling Sal, I'm just like, all my focus is on Tom, and then you have Ian from Auto Fiber just giving you information on whether it's care for, and he's not, nobody's there pushing their stuff either.
And just expertise, expertise and different entities.
Yes, and it's not like there's no sales pitch.
Right.
This was just true information on the industry, on process, on how to, with certain things in certain situations, and all those little tips just make your job so much easier. There's offerings now that we're going to be able to do. And if I was wasting years trying to do this stuff, and with mediocre results, and it wasn't my expertise. And, of course it's going to take us a while to master this, but over time we're going to be able to offer so much of a better outcome based off of this, off of what we learned.
This is not on the topic at all, but when we went to the training, like, you don't know what's going to come up because everybody's involved in so many different things, or going through different scenarios. But we got an impromptu class on insurance and insurance claims, how that came up. Just interesting things that we don't. That if you don't participate in, if you're not involved in, you're not going to be accustomed to. And the stuff that he was saying was just like, but it just, now that's in our mental block. Like, keep that in mind.
Yes.
When we do this,
yes.
You know what I mean? Gotta have a plan for that. So it also makes your risk assessment even broader. You know what I mean? So that was just great. I'm sure in that training, that was nowhere in agenda to talk about insurance.
I think they wanted to kind of tap it in a little bit, but I think they made it more of a topic since based off of their experience and them going through it. They said this would be valuable for everybody to know, and it was. And that's what these trainings bring. On our podcast, we kind of show, okay, well, here's some bad training. And we're just being very objective with everything we do. This is business.
You know we talk about training. So obviously we're still learning. We're going to trainings. We're not going to all the trainings. We're going to trainings that we think are valuable. What those things, how we decide what those things value. You ready for this? Someone's name and what we see, what they're posting, their work, who they surround themselves with. Again, a bunch of trainings out there.
All the associations, their reputation.
We went to this training because we believed in all these people's reputation.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So if Owner's Pride said we're going to have this training here at this guy's shop, that's saying a lot in itself. Okay, all right, Owner's Pride, and heck of a shop to pick to model that after. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's kind of like when, like say an organization, this is obviously on a grand scale, but the organization like the NFL.
Right.
Okay, who's going to host the Super Bowl?
Right.
There's a lot of things that are taken into consideration when you do that. Can this person, do they show well? Mm-hmm. Do they present well? Do they have enough education on our product to really host this event.
Have they hosted things like this in this magnitude before?
Yes. Are they a prime example of what the industry and what our brand wants to represent?
How are they looking at it? What's the airport looking like?
Yes.
You know, there's going to be a lot of traffic in here.
Yeah.
We can't have all these people coming to Super Bowl and they get stuck. Like all that.
Yeah. And also, not even that is probably one of the biggest ones is, can this shop operate at the same time, or even better, close down and not work for the weekend? Like, can they financially even do that?
Yeah.
You know, because we're not working on customers' car. One car we worked on a customer's car, but the other time we're working on junkyard panels and we're working on, you know, one of the presenters' vehicles.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're there doing a ceramic coating for a client or two.
Yeah.
We're there. We're there just for...
They shut down.
Yeah, they pretty much shut down the operation for the weekend. I don't know if they operate over the weekend or not, but either way...
From the looks of it, it looks like they shut down.
But either way, you're at that point, when you're opening up your studio space, because anybody knows that has any kind of rent or overhead on their space, you're paying 24 hours a day for your rent. So thank you, Dustin, for hosting this great event, but thank you to everybody at all levels that attended in all spectrums of the industry, because we got some pretty damn good insight. We learned some valuable information when it comes to insurance. Once we started talking about the employee discussion, you know, everybody's kind of like, oh, you just look at everyone's faces and like, now we're going to talk about it, because we know how it gets. But you know, I'm always happy when I see any business have great employees, because there's nothing like going out and knowing you can rely on your team. And that takes a lot of work and a lot of discipline to get to that point. And so, Dustin, again, shout out to you, shout out to the staff, to your team. They're doing an excellent job, and it's only going to get better. And, you know, trust me, it makes a big difference when times are tough and you have a good team, or times are tough and you have a weak team. With me and Sal, for instance, when things are rough, I could look to Sal and say, yo, brother, what do we got to do? It's time to grind this out. We need a solution now. We got to figure. Luckily, we haven't been in that situation, but, you know, who knows? Throughout business, you know, we're starting to take a little bit more risk. We're starting to kind of change things up a little bit. With that said, who knows? There may be a time where we see it in business all the time. Businesses, they rise and fall.
And like I told him I welcome that. I was like, maybe we should just put a plug on something and let,
because sometimes you get a little too comfortable.
Yeah, and let us just react and plan the way we know, the way we know how.
Sometimes you get very comfortable in that setting, but that's where you kind of have to have that continuous growth, or at least have those people around you that are constantly doing things. You know, recap the training. I think there was a lot of good mentorship there. I think there was a lot of good topics and insight on things that maybe we wouldn't have considered, or maybe things that we haven't encountered yet in our business. There was a lot of good relationship building, you know, a ton of good relationship building. Of course, we left with some stuff too.
Yes.
Thank you to Auto Fiber. Thank you to Ian at Auto Fiber for the generous gifts. You know, we even got some hats, some patches. But yeah, it was a very, very worthwhile experience. So if there are any trainings in your area, if there's free trainings, definitely go to them. See what's out there. In these trainings, guys, you take what you want and you leave what you don't.
Yeah.
But it's always good to at least experience the training and to see what other people have gone through to help you prevent issues in your business going forward, or to help you streamline getting where you want to be a little bit faster. I call it micro mentorship. When you get into the presence of people that have been doing things for such a long time, they're going to give you an extreme amount of knowledge to get you from point A to point B. a lot faster.
Right.
Yeah. There's a lot of detailers out there that are like, man, I just need the blueprint, or I just need the SOP, or I just need a checklist. It doesn't work that way, Playboy. It just doesn't work that way. You got to put in the time. You got to have the discipline. You have to have the foundations in order first. You have to have comprehension of the end game before you set these checklists, before you have to have reasoning behind everything you do.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, it doesn't matter what type of structure you have, it's going to fall apart because you don't know why you're doing it.
Yes. You gotta implement systems and process.
That makes sense.
That's very broad.
That makes sense to your business.
Yes.
If I put some systems into place, that maybe I took from, I don't know.
Well, we hear all the time when people say, "Oh, we're using analytics to get great." But if you're adding the wrong numbers, you might as well not be using analytics.
Yeah, your analytics are you're looking at the wrong indicators that are doing nothing for your business. The performance indicators that we're more concerned with are the ones that are having impact on our business. So, and that's going to be different for every business. So, to take a cookie cutter thing and say, "Oh, this is going to change my business," is kind of absurd, because you have to cater things and make it for your business. And analytics are great, but if you don't know what you're doing with them, it doesn't matter.
Just like systems are great.
Yes.
If you got the wrong system.
Just like top quality tools are great.
Yes.
Just like a beautiful shop is great. You have a beautiful shop, you could have a $5 million shop and not know how to detail, have bad customer service, and it doesn't mean a thing.
You can have a fast car and not win the race. The fastest car.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Anything like that. Like Drake. You could have all the money in the world, all the clothes in the world, and still have no style. Yeah. So
you cold, man. You cold.
So if you guys are interested in taking trainings,
learning systems. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, make sure you pick the right ones. So if you guys are on the fence about trainings, if they're worth it to you, if it's something that's really gonna help grow your business, I would say do it. Every training that we've had, we've come out so much more knowledgeable, and just it invigorates you again. It gets the creative juices flowing. It gets you back motivated to come home and say, okay, this is a fresh start. I'm going to do some things differently. I'm going to eliminate some things. I'm going to add some things, whatever it is. Or maybe it's just your mindset. Maybe it's just going to change your mindset. Maybe it's going to give you a little bit more motivation. Maybe you were kind of stagnant in your business and you were just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I'm just doing same thing day in, day out. Maybe you just need that, that little boost from people in the industry, or maybe you just need to be around some like-minded people. Sometimes you just don't have support from your friends or your family, or they don't understand what you're trying to do. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but by being around certain individuals, it's going to motivate you. They're going to tell you, okay, you are on the right path. Or maybe you're in this stage, you just need to get over this little hump and things are going to get better. You may be close to giving up, and someone might hit you with something to just say, okay, well, I'm a lot closer than I thought I was. And it just gives you that perspective that you needed to continue.
We said a lot of fancy buzzwords that are in the industry, that are just in business. Yeah. Overall, systems, process, analytics, SOP. Yeah, we said a lot of those buzzwords, and those are just buzzwords if you don't know what to do them. Yeah. If you're interested and you really think these things can help you, give us a call. Yeah. And if you don't think those things are an issue in your business, don't call us. Keep watching.
Yeah, keep watching, keep liking, subscribing, and all that, sharing. But if you guys don't feel like it's a need in your business, just like we said with the trainings, take what you need and leave what you don't. But I can tell you from my personal experience with my business, with my development, not only technical, but from a business perspective, they've helped me, and I've grown tremendously at a very fast pace through meeting other detailers in trainings, meet and greets, even Sal. And a lot of the times there's usually some sort of industry leader there. You know, so there's a keynote speaker, there's somebody kicking knowledge. Like in this one, I would say it was Shad, because Shad's giving you not only perspective from a technical perspective, but he's telling you from all different areas of the industry, because he's seen it all, and he sees it all. So for somebody to say, okay, well, this is what's working for most of the detailers out there, or this is not working,
should take heed.
Or I've seen a lot of detailers try that, and that's coming from a pretty credible source, and that in itself is a valuable asset to have.
And let's be clear, you don't have to be a good detailer to see those things.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If you just see those things, then you don't have to. Again, you don't have to be a great detailer or even a detailer at all.
Yeah. And these open our eyes. Sal's first training was the Rupes systems training. So we went through the Rupes systems training. We were already using the system, and I had already given him my training of the system. And luckily we were invited by PNS East Bay. They had, it was an invite only special, basically just a rundown of their system. And we were invited, so Sal came along. After him already learning everything that I was able to teach him, we both went into this Rupes training and learned even more how to refine it. So you can imagine...
blew the socks off.
Yeah, you can imagine how much better it made our process. We were able to make adjustments faster. We just have better understanding and comprehension of the system, to where now Sal can gauge what we need to do, a visual evaluation of the paint itself. At least have a very good pinpointed idea of what we need to do, so we're not wasting time. We're jumping right into it. And then another one Sal's attended was PNS Coffees, Coding, and Profits, which we've done at two different locations, two different shop locations. And that one, at both times, two completely different trainings. Obviously one was, I think the first one we went to was his very first one. And then he did a tour and then came back to our area, and we went to that second one. So the second one was a little bit more refined. It was a little bit more, down and dirty, giving you like the real deal. Yeah. So, and that one was just solely on how to make money in different ways from coatings than the traditional correction and coating way. It was pretty much just a sales clinic on how to, get coating sales year round.
Pretty much told you how to make money off of ceramic coating like 5 different ways.
Yes.
It's not just your average, I got this coating and this. It was very creative. If you're selling something, which most people, all retailers are, you're selling your service. If you just want to just become better at your service, take any course on how to sell something. Yeah. It doesn't have to be detailing. Like if you want to really step your game up, maybe
we could put this information out there all day too. Yeah. And as we put the information out, it doesn't really matter, because how many people are really going to, because again, it goes back to, I don't have time to that.
Well, this information, what we're saying now is out there.
Yeah. Yes. It's all out there. The resources are all out there. Everything is out there. I could probably name about 10 different detailers that try to teach you something in business. Whether or not you value their opinions is up to you. Whether or not you think it's important is up to you. But I could tell you what, like the people that are really actively going out there in seeking the right trainings are doing very well.